And I think a lot of homeowners are actually trying to kind of screen agents prior to hiring them to make sure that they have this kind of knowledge.
Hi, welcome to the Realtors Conspiracy Podcast. I'm here today with Jay Bradburn from the Bradburn Group. Jay, you've been in the renovation business for many years now.
We have. We've been in business since 2013.
Okay, tell us about the Bradburn Group.
Bradburn Group's located here in Burlington. We're a team of 10. We have some of our team is here in the office helping to keep the business operating on a daily basis, and the rest of our team is obviously out in the field on sites doing work.
Cool. And then speaking of renovations, I noticed that you've been working with realtors to do flips and rebuilds and investment properties, renovations.
Yep.
How does that work?
Yeah, there's a bit of an advantage for us because there's a lot of really reputable real estate agents here in Burlington, and often they reach out to us to see if we can kind of collaborate with them and try to bring some extra valued service to their clients when they're considering purchasing or selling their home. So yeah, we get an opportunity to work with quite a few people here in town, and we try to lend whatever help we can while they're trying to conduct their deals with their clients.
And then you handle everything from demo, design, build, finishes, everything.
For sure. There's some cases where a real estate agent is coming to us and saying, hey, I have a client, they've purchased a home and they have some major plans for their new property. And then there's other real estate agents that just simply call to inquire about maybe giving a recommendation as to what work might need to be done on a home they're looking to purchase or sell. So there's a couple of different opportunities there for everybody. It just depends on where they're at with any given client.
Yeah, and that second one now, what would be the best ROI if somebody wants to do renovation to sell, I guess, or to increase the value?
Sure, it's probably the most popular question that's asked, and I think everybody kind of knows that your greatest return on an investment takes place typically in a bathroom or even more so in a kitchen, and that is definitely true. Mm-hmm. Those are the two areas of a home where we sort of start and finish our day, and everybody wants it to shine, for lack of a better way of explaining it. So if you're considering spending money on any of the areas in your home, those are definitely the two greatest areas. Third to that, probably laundry rooms, basements. If you have children and you're looking for some additional square footage that you can utilize, but definitely bathroom and kitchen being the greatest return for sure.
What would you avoid completely? Would say that's kind of a waste of money, don't do it at this point?
Again, a little bit tricky, but it just depends, right? I mean, if you're considering selling your home, just throwing a bunch of money at it, for lack of a better term, isn't necessarily the best approach. But that's where having reputable real estate agents, like we have so many of here in Burlington, is really to a home buyer or seller's advantage. It's recognizing, hey, you know what? It would definitely get you return, but would it be the return that you're looking for when selling this house? You can easily overspend, and if you're planning on leaving, you need somebody who knows, what considerations to take before spending your hard-earned money on something you're eventually going to walk away from.
A lot of the agents we're working with are showing that they're offering more value to their clients, and by being more expert in certain areas, knowing more about properties and homes. Mm-hmm. So what would be an advice you would give to realtors to what to look for when they're viewing a property?
Well, again, my experience here in Burlington with a lot of the real estate agents we worked with has been a positive one. A lot of the agents here have a pretty good understanding of what some of the costs are associated with doing renovations in any given space. So what we were talking about before was making sure we're not applying too much money prior to selling, making sure that we're getting the best investment we can if we're staying and trying to renovate. Having an agent who understands what some of the costs are associated, exactly how much work and time goes into doing some of this work is important. And I think a lot of homeowners are actually trying to kind of screen agents prior to hiring them to make sure that they have this kind of knowledge. So for a real estate agent, it really is, maybe if you're not fully aware on what some of these things cost, or the time it takes to do the renovations, you can consult with us. You can call us and you can say, I have a client that's considering purchasing. They're not sure how much it's going to cost to do the renovation they want to make the home that they want. So you can call us and we can help with that. Or if you just have the time as an agent to educate yourself, know what it costs to rip up tile floor and replace it with hardwood. Understand what the time and costs are associated, for the most part, to take down a wall and make an open concept on a main floor. Just educate yourself. Because I think if you can go to a client and say, I'm not only a real estate agent and I have tons of years in the business, but I have a pretty good understanding of what it takes to do renos and what they cost. And maybe not only that, but we know people like the Bradburn Group who are available to come and help and assist with that stuff to make sure that they're making the appropriate decision before they either purchase or sell.
So you would be a key partner in a realtor's life.
Yeah, we definitely are. We definitely are. I mean, it is challenging sometimes because people are trying to purchase a home and maybe they're about to go into competition and they don't want to take too much time. But the reality is, this is, you know, for the most part, the single biggest purchase a lot of people are making.
Yes.
And you don't want to move into something that's going to cost you a fortune to repair or to remedy to make it the way that you want. So sometimes it's best to not purchase that home if the timing is not going to work out, because if you're very budget conscious and you have very specific things that you want to do to that home, you need to know whether it's possible before you purchase it, or you may be stuck with something that you don't want. So.
And then when viewing a property, what kind of details the realtor should be looking for before even talking renovation? Just to look at details. Let's say the house has been renovated already, but it wasn't done by you guys.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, there's lots of little things that you can look for. A lot of times if basements aren't finished, you can easily go downstairs and look at foundation walls to find or see if either major repairs have already taken place, which would be a good thing provided they were done right, or they haven't and there's a ton of moisture or mold. I mean, those are all things that in an unfinished space we can all kind of see and know that they're just not right, and an inspector or somebody is going to have to look at it. Yeah, I mean, it's really just about walking into a space, looking. For the most part, when things are done poorly, it's obvious. If you see major sagging, you see floors that are seriously sloping, you see unfinished basements where structural work has been clearly removed.
I think it would be easy for you to see, but what would they, like you said, floors sagging, what else can?
Yeah, well, I think real estate agents have a pretty good idea to spend a lot of time in homes. So again, there are some things that are clear. I mean, if it's hidden behind walls, it's not the easiest thing to determine. But again, take the time to get an inspector in there and make sure you do all your inspections, because they also see a lot of properties and are very familiar with when things don't look right. There's moisture detectors, there's looking up in the attic to make sure that things are appropriately insulated, there's checking foundation walls on both the interior and the exterior. There's lots of things that lots of professionals can do prior to a home being purchased, so that people don't get themselves in a bad situation.
Tell me about maintenance. Once the renovation's over, people are happy with the work. What kind of maintenance can they do ongoing?
I think when projects are completely finished, everybody is so excited, everything looks good and everything is shining, and they finally have this space that they've always dreamed of having. There's definitely some, minor maintenance things we can do, making sure that you're, maintaining the appropriate humidity in your home. If you're not utilizing your furnace or your air conditioner properly, things like trims and moldings, coffered ceilings, floors can start to pull apart, trim and crown can start to crack, drywall can crack. There is some relatively simple maintenance we can do. Typically when we're done a project, we provide documentation for each of those things, how to clean your stone, where to keep your humidity, so that those little types of things don't happen. They create lots of sort of remedial work that needs to be done after the fact that people can be disappointed in. So we try to give as much information as we can so that people don't have to worry about it too much, but then they can kind of check the box and make sure that a lot of the products that we put in the house aren't going to be affected because they're just not paying any attention to it.
Cool. And then outside features, what can people do quickly, fast, for sale, for resale?
We work with a couple of really reputable companies that do a lot of exterior work for homes. Again, if you're selling, we all know what that sort of first impression walking on a home looks like for somebody who's purchasing. There's a lot of, not overly expensive work that you can do with nice shrubs and resodding certain areas, cleaning up driveways, touch up on paint on the outside, that type of thing, recaulking windows so things are nice and clean. A lot of really cost-effective things you can do as far as your return on investment goes prior to selling a house.
Cool, thank you. So where do we find the Bradburn Group?
You can definitely find us online on our website, bradburngroup.ca.
Cool.
I always encourage people to go onto the website. There's forms you can fill out if you'd like to reach out to us. We also have client testimonials, courtesy of your work, client testimonials after our projects where our clients talk about their experience in working with us. So that's under testimonials tab on the website. You can always call the office as well and speak to somebody here at 905-220-5866.
Cool.
Yeah, we'd love to hear from anybody that would like to call in.
Awesome. Well, thank you. Thanks for all your advice for realtors and everything about home renovation.
Awesome. Thanks for having me.